When you need to know what's happening right here in the Merrimack Valley, the only place to turn is 980 WCAP. Everybody gets it.
Good morning, listeners, and welcome back to the Internet Marketing and Business Solutions radio show with Ron Couming from both RCS Technology Solutions and RCS Online Solutions, where we help business owners and entrepreneurs achieve even greater success using various Internet marketing techniques and methods to help them attract, convert, and retain their ideal customers and clients. The purpose of this show is to educate our listeners for free from subject matter experts from around the world. So we break the show up into three sections. The first two sections are subject matter experts, and then the last section I give away some free tips that you guys can use to increase your success. Our first guest today is Marc Mawhinney, is a lifelong entrepreneur who's on a mission to help coaches build successful businesses. He achieves this with his coaching programs, his podcast, Natural Born Coaches, his Facebook group, The Coaching Jungle, and his exclusive print newsletter, Secret Coach Club, which you will find at www.secretcoachclub.com. He frequently makes media appearances and is a contributor for Entrepreneur.com. You can learn more about Marc at www.naturalborncoaches.com, but before you run off to check him out, listen first. Marc, how are you today?
Hey, Ronald, I'm doing great.
Excellent. Where are you calling in from?
I am on the east coast of Canada, so I'm in the beautiful province of New Brunswick. We're right next door to Maine, the state of Maine.
Wow, excellent. So we're international today.
We are, yeah. Little ways away in Canada, but tell you the truth, most of my clients are in the United States, so I should probably move down there.
Well, that's excellent, but that just shows, like, the world. Like, right now, this radio station is in the Boston area, specifically Lowell, Mass., but I'm out at Newport Beach in California. I just did a 3-day event, and now I'm just getting caught up out here and be flying back. But just like you said, even though you're in Canada, you can work with people anywhere in the U.S. or anywhere else, just like I can. So it's a different world. Boundaries are no longer borders. Am I correct?
Yeah, I could never go back to the old bricks and mortar, stuck in your local neighborhood type business. That's my background, is actually real estate. I did that for about a decade, but I can tell you that I much prefer coaching. I just love not being restricted by geography. And as long as you have a laptop and internet, you're good.
Yep, I love it, and I call that a laptop lifestyle. So like today, I'll be working off my laptop. Here it's only 8 a.m. In Boston area, it's 11. But I'll be working from my laptop till about 10, 11 this time, and then I'll just head out to the beach with my iPad and my phone, and I'll just be working there. But so I love it. And this is kind of like what you help people do with your programs. You help them achieve success for what it means to them. Am I correct?
Yeah, I mean, I stress to people that it's going to take hard work. So we say laptop lifestyle, and there's people out there selling the dream, make 7 figures in a month while you lay on the beach dipping your toes in the sand and, you have a margarita in your hand. Just because
if it was only true, sign me up.
There we go, yes. Send me $100,000, I'll show you the dream. But no, it still takes a lot of work. So even though I'm working from a laptop, home office, I love it. Gives ultimate flexibility. But that being said, I'm not a 4-hour work week type of guy. I'd probably go nuts if I was working just 4 hours a week. So it does take a lot of work, but you can't beat the lifestyle and the flexibility.
Yeah, and I love the clarity there too. You're right. It's people who are trying to sell you a dream. I mean, usually it's just a dream, but one of the things about being entrepreneurs like you and I, and having that laptop lifestyle, it just means the ability to work from wherever you choose, is we get to choose our hours. But that doesn't mean we don't work hours either. You know what I mean? We just get to choose.
But it doesn't feel like work either. Yeah, I sometimes feel guilty that I get paid for this because it's not like it's typical work. I'm not out, cutting trees in the forest or, doing some backbreaking labor, but it's something I absolutely love doing. So it doesn't feel like work. And that's the best type of work that you can have. If you do something that doesn't feel like work, then you're all set.
I love it. And Mark, I'm a member of your group, your Facebook group, the Coaching Jungle. I've seen quite a lot of your posts. I've interacted with you, but and I just read a very short bio of you. But could you tell the listeners more about who you are and what you do? And we got like 20 minutes, so don't feel pressured at all. And then at the end, we'll give some more contact info for you. But let's talk a little bit about you and your services.
Yeah. I mean, in a nutshell, what I do is I always get funny looks when I say this to people. I'm a coach who coaches coaches. But essentially what I'm doing, I'm a business coach, and that's my niche, is helping other coaches get more clients, and specifically doing that without paid advertising. So that's not to knock paid advertising, but I built my business up organically, by doing certain things, because I just didn't have the budget, coming into coaching. I was coming off of business closure in real estate. So I started my business on a shoestring budget, really, and build it up organically. And that's what I help coaches do, is to do it without having to throw thousands of dollars into paid advertising.
I love it. And I'll be honest with you, I am in the internet marketing world, and that's exactly, I help my clients, as I said in my bio, achieve greater success with internet marketing techniques and stuff. But I stress organic. I almost never do pay-per-click or pay-per-impression, just because in my mind you're renting it, you don't own it. When you do organic, it takes you a little bit longer, and there's a little more work involved. It's usually like less. It's like a third less the cost too. But the difference is you actually own it opposed to rent it. Like when you're doing pay-per-click, somebody comes in and pays a dime more, but boom, now you're on page 17. So I love that mentality. How do you get people to achieve that? What are some of your tips and techniques that you can share?
Well, I'm really big on putting out good content, and it varies for different people. Some people enjoy writing. I do daily emails to my list. I've been doing the daily emails since April 2016. And you've seen my posts from being in the Facebook group. And I also enjoy video. I do stuff like that as well. But a big part of it is you have to get your message out there. So a problem that a lot of coaches have is that they say to me, well, I'm posting all the time on Facebook or on LinkedIn. I'm just not getting anything from it. And when I go look at what they're putting out there, they're just regurgitating motivational quotes from Tony Robbins or Oprah Winfrey or, Maya Angelou or anything like that. And that's not enough. People can get motivational quotes anywhere. Don't get me wrong. I love motivational quotes, and I have a lot of my favorites, but you can't just spit out other people's stuff and expect to get much traction from it. You have to put out your own message and your own words and your own ideas, and I think that that's the best way to do it. So I say find the vehicle that you want to go with. For me, it's Facebook and email marketing and podcasting, doing shows like this and doing my own show. But I enjoy all those things. For me, I'm not big on certain social media networks. Aren't my thing, and it would be silly for me to spend my time on those other ones. So you have to find where you people are at and what you enjoy doing, and then just be consistent and do it.
Yeah, that's huge. I really like that. And you're right, because with my clients I work with, I tell them the same thing. Your clients may not be on Snapchat, or Instagram might not be their choice, or Facebook might not. They might be strictly B2B and have a Facebook account with, 400 people, and it's all family and friends from high school or college. So that might be not be your demographic. So finding your avatar, finding where your ideal customers or clients, what channel they're on, where they're located, I think that's key, and focusing in there in producing quality content that connects with them, that speaks to them. I agree with you. I think that's a tremendous value.
Yeah, and it takes a while to get to find your voice, So when you first start, it's going to take a little bit of time, but if you consistently put out that content, then you're going to refine your message. And the example I use is, you've probably seen a lot of your favorite sitcoms, they've been on the air for 5 years or 8 years or whatever. When you look back at their first season, the characters don't sound the same, like they don't have their catchphrases. They just seem a little bit different, right? And then it took years of doing it till they got like Big Bang Theory. You know that Sheldon says bazinga. I don't know if you watch that show or not, but in the first season, first episode, he wasn't doing that, you know, and so you're not going to know what your message is until you really start putting it out there and seeing what resonates with people and so on. But I always stress to people, don't play in the mushy middle, you know, and I think too many coaches, online entrepreneurs are afraid of offending people. So they put out this boring, bland stuff, and then they don't get any traction. So you are going to have to polarize. You're going to have to grow a thick skin because you're going to get some people who aren't liking some of the stuff you're saying. But you're much better doing it that way as opposed to playing in the mushy middle.
Yeah, I like that. And also how you said try to test it and tweak it, you know, put it out there, see what works. And, you know, what works in the beginning, you know, you're going to modify it as time goes on when you get into your stride and learn your voice and your channels and all that. So that's important I think, for people to understand, too. The day you start, you're not going to be successful. I actually had a conversation yesterday with somebody, and they were talking about people, and it was like, you know, they were like, this is something I can end up. But I tell them, when you see these people, they're 10, 15 years down the line. It takes a lot of work to get from here to there, you know?
It does, yeah. And you never want to compare yourself to somebody that far down the road. And I see that happen a lot where someone's been in it for a year and they're looking at a veteran that's been in it 10 years. And that's just going to discourage you, and it's not going to help you. So not that it's good to compare yourself to anyone, but if you really feel you have to compare yourself, look at people who've been at the same length of time as you have.
Yep, that's good stuff. And especially, you're right, it's never good to compare yourself. But one of the things that might be, if somebody is relatively new and they're in a genre and somebody else has had success in that genre, they can look to see what that person has done and what channels, and if they're posting twice a day or 3 times a day or whatever the case may be, or 3 times a week, or long posts, short posts, and kind of like they have to create their own content. But if they find something that works, I mean, they can certainly plug into that as long as it serves their own message.
Yeah, I don't know if there's anything that's truly original out there, or there's very little. I think most successful people put their own spin on something. And but what you don't want to do is you don't want to just be a copycat. So one thing I noticed, I don't know if you saw Tony Robbins' documentary that he released on Netflix last year, I Am Not Your Guru.
Yep,
in that
absolutely.
documentary, I think Tony was trying to break the Guinness Book of World Records for the number of F-bombs that he was dropping. He was just cursing the whole time, right? Every second word was F this and F that. And that's fine. I guess he's Tony Robbins. He can do what he wants. But what was happening in the weeks after that documentary came out, I noticed a lot of coaches who were starting to mimic him, and everything was just, like I said, F-bomb this, F that, or so on. And it was coming from people who don't usually curse. You know, I've followed them for a while, and, you know, I know their stuff. And that was just them seeing, hey, it works for Tony Robbins. He swears, he's edgy, and I'm going to do the same thing. And just doesn't really work that way. So you have to use your own voice. I mean, for me, my language can be salty at times, but if I was cursing every second word, cursing like a sailor, it would come across fake and phony. You know, it just wouldn't be me, and anyone who's been following me would be like, what happened to Mark? What's he doing? So you have to use your own voice with it. If you're not someone that curses all the time, don't do it. If you are someone that curses and that's what you enjoy doing, heck, do it. You know, if someone has a problem with it, then they're probably not your ideal client. You can find someone to fill their spot.
Yeah, that's good stuff. I like that. And so tell us, if somebody was just starting out, could you maybe give like 1 or 2, 3 actionable tips on what they could do to just start? And then maybe one tip for somebody just starting, one tip for somebody who's been at it for a year or so, and then maybe another tip for somebody who's been at it for 2 or 3 years, all how they can maybe up-level a little bit.
Well, for the brand new coaches and also online entrepreneurs, this goes with as well. The big key is just get out there and connect with people, take action. You know, I see a lot of new coaches who spend too much time fidgeting with their website or playing around with their logo or working on their promotional material, and they do everything they can except actually getting in front of people to have conversations. And a lot of it comes from fear. They're afraid to do that, so They want to feel busy though, so they think, well, I got to work on my website, or I got to work on this and that, and got to work on my funnel, and before I do any of this stuff, or before I go out on Ronald's radio show, I want to do this, and this, instead of just reaching out to you, Ronald, and saying, hey, can I come on your show? So that would be the big one I would say for new coaches, is just take action. Don't hold back on that, because I see a lot of coaches who waste 6 months or a year doing things that they didn't have to be doing. There's going to be time for that website, that logo, all that stuff down the road. Just get out there talking to people. Coaches and online entrepreneurs who've been at it for a year, I would say a tip would be increase your fees. Don't wait. So a lot of coaches say, well, I'm going to wait a few more years till I've been in it longer. But once I've been in it 5 years, then I'll increase my fees, because I'll have that experience and, and so on, and track record. And don't wait till then. You should be constantly evaluating your fees and looking to increase them. And I would say probably 90% of coaches are too low with how much they're charging. And don't do free coaching, by the way, too. Unfortunately, a lot of coaches are doing the free, just giving it away, for free. And I think that's horrible for the coach and for the client. And finally, the coaches have been at 2 and 3 years, probably have to start looking at, okay, how can I scale this up? Because it's at that time frame that they're probably running out of hours, they're feeling stressed, they need help, they've got clients, they've got revenue coming in, but they feel like they're stuck and they've hit a ceiling. And then that's when you have to get into, okay, can I hire a VA to help with this? And can I tweak my model? Maybe I do more group coaching instead of one-on-one, and, bring online programs in there and stuff like that. So I think that it's that 2 or 3 year mark where people usually hit that point where they're starting to feel stretched and a little stressed out.
Excellent. And yeah, we all have peaks and valleys being a business owner. But all right, now do you have, we still have probably another 5 to 7 minutes or so, but I'd like you to give your contact information. And I just want to let the listeners know, if for some reason you're unable to write this information down, this radio episode as well as all other episodes are archived both on the radio station's website, 980wcap.com, and then also my website, ronaldcouming.com, and rcstechnologysolutions.com under the media tab. So if you're driving, don't try to write. You know what I mean? Keep your hands on the wheels. So go ahead, Mark. Can you give us your contact info?
Yeah, the best spot to find me, naturalborncoaches.com. Not naturalbornkillers.com. You won't find me there. And the Facebook group, thank you for being in the Facebook group, by the way, Ronald, but that's called The Coaching Jungle. If you go to thecoachingjungle.com, that'll take you right to the Facebook group. And as of today, I think we're at, 7,300, 7,400 coaches in there sharing lots of good stuff. I learn something every day, from there. And I've done my best to make sure that the community gives as much value as possible. So thecoachingjungle.com.
Yeah, and I thank you for thanking me, but thank you for putting it together in the collection of people in there. I go in there, even if I'm not a coach, but the information that in there is valuable to me. And I guess in a way I am a coach, because I talk to business owners about how to grow their business. So I might not be a life coach, I'm a business coach, but I find tremendous value in there. So thank you for putting it all together. But a little bit now about you. How did you get started? I mean, you mentioned that you were real estate. How did you get into this genre and find that it was your niche?
Yeah, it was never part of the plan to become a coach. So as mentioned, I was in real estate. I started when I was 21 years old, did it throughout my 20s for almost a decade. And then I went through not one, but 2 business closures in the span of under 4 years. And one of them was really bad. Not that there's ever a good business closure, but 2009, like a lot of people in real estate, everything just went under, and I had 100 employees, agents and employees. I had a couple offices, and everything was going great. Then 2009 hit, and everything collapsed, and, really, really rough time. And I'm grateful because I was actually helped by several coaches and mentors who came into my life at the right time. And that's why I believe so strongly in coaching, because I've seen how it helped me with my comeback in life. And I know the power of coaching. So after I'd worked with them and I got to see what they were doing and know more about the industry and stuff, I thought, you know what? I'm burnt out from real estate. I don't enjoy it. It's not fun. Zero work-life balance. You know, we talked about the laptop lifestyle. Real estate's the exact opposite. You got a phone to your ear 24/7, and you can't leave town or you're going to lose business. And I said, you know what? I don't want to be doing this for the rest of my life. And I said, I really want to become a coach. And that's what got started with that. And there's a few years I was going through the wilderness, you know, trying to figure out what I was going to do next. But when I decided I'd become a coach, it was beginning of 2014. And that's how I got started. I'm in my 4th year now. So that's it in a nutshell.
Yeah, and I appreciate that, but it shows, you know, that to me that makes you real, raw, and relatable because you've been there and done that. And I agree with you wholeheartedly. Having a coach and a mentor can take years off the learning curve. And if somebody's already been there and achieved success in a certain area, and you're just starting out in that area, you really, really should consider hiring a coach or some type of a mentor, because that learning curve can go from 3 to 6 years with all the trials, tribulations, financial losses, so, you know, even feeling self-confident. Maybe you just outright quit. You can avoid all that by just investing a little in yourself and your future with a coach and mentor.
Well, the other important thing, Ronald, is you don't have to be perfect to become a coach. So I just told you I went through business closure, bankruptcy, divorce. It was a rough. Right when I was entering my 30s, you know, they call it the dirty 30s. That was true for me the first part of my 30s. I thought, man, I don't like this. This decade's not good. But so I wasn't perfect, and there was that little voice in my head when I first started thinking that was saying, "Who are you to coach people? You know, you went through this massive business closure and all this stuff." But that actually makes me a better coach. You know, it makes me more empathetic, and it gave me that experience going through it. So when I'm working with a client now who's going through sleepless nights and they're dealing with all these different issues, I can relate to them a little bit better. So I mention that because there could be people listening thinking, you know what, I'd like to get into coaching, or I'd like to start an online business, but this happened and that happened, and who am I to do it? You're going to have that imposter syndrome feeling. Don't worry about that, because I could tell you that a lot of people wrote me off and said, who's this guy to get started with it? And here we are 4 years later. Things have gone very well. And, you know, knock on wood, I hope I don't go through another business closure. But I've also shown to myself that, hey, if anything ever happens, I can bounce back from it. So your history and background actually is a plus. It's not a negative. Any mistakes and stuff, you can weave that into your story. It's going to make you a better coach.
Yeah, I think that's actually, you know, I would prefer, I don't want a coach who's book smart. I mean, anybody can read a book and take tests, but somebody who's been through the mental and emotional, the failures, and come out on the other side, that, to me, brings the real value to the table. Anybody can take a course and read a book, but going through it and coming out, to me, that's tremendous. So I really appreciate what you do and others like you, and the fact that you put a group together with so many people that are just giving out so much free information. It's sort of like this show I bring on. So I don't get paid to do this show. Our guests like yourself come on for free, and so it's real nice when you can be in a position to give back. So I really appreciate that. Now, do you have maybe an email list or a free book or something you want to give away to anybody? We're going to be closing out in like 2 minutes.
Sure. Yeah, I've got a digital book on my website. It's called The Real ABCs of a Successful Coaching Business. It's a short read. It'll take you 10, 15 minutes to go through it, but I've packed as much in there that I wish I'd known as a new coach, and I took the filter off and just was very open and honest and candid and real. So to get a copy of it, if you go to naturalborncoaches.com, you can opt into my list and you'll get a copy of that. And like I mentioned before, I've been doing daily emails to my list since April of last year, and I share a lot of good stuff in those daily emails. So I encourage you to, you know, check out the email list as well and see what I'm doing there.
Excellent. I want to thank you so much for being a guest. And could you give your contact info one more time? Did you just give it right now when you gave out the book?
Yeah, naturalborncoaches.com or thecoachingjungle.com.
Excellent. Mark, thank you so much. And listeners, you've been listening to the Internet Marketing and Business Solutions radio show with Ron Couming of both RCS Technology Solutions and RCS Online Solutions, where we help business owners and entrepreneurs achieve even greater success using various internet marketing techniques and methods to attract, convert, and retain ideal customers and clients. Thanks so much, guys.